Hi, I'm Callum Riley. Welcome to Clearheads. Today's video is about highs and lows in football, a journey that every sportsman has probably endured during their career, the positives and the negatives and how you bounce back from them. I'm joined today by my friend, former teammate and current player at York City, Mitch Hancox. Welcome, Mitch.
Okay.
As I mentioned, this video is on the highs and lows of football. I know obviously you've obviously had some brilliant highs in your career. You've obviously made your debut, stayed up in relegation against all odds, and of course promotions. And well, obviously as well as that, you've obviously had your tougher times and the negatives that you've had to deal with. And we'll be just touching on that later. We'll start with the positives first. And from your career to date, from making your debut, what sort of moments stick out in your head about the big moments and the positives that you've had?
Obviously the clear one, obviously winning the league with Macclesfield. Obviously we started that season, I think there was 3 players signed, so it was a brand new squad, and we were probably, I think, was one of the favourites to probably go down if anything, but just throughout the season we just had that drive and belief that we was aiming probably for playoffs. But no, it was amazing. We just went on a good run, just management was great and the lads just cracked on and managed to win the league with the earliest opportunity we could get, and that'll be my standout. Like you said, relegation battle worries. Obviously when I was at Birmingham we stayed up on the last day, obviously not starting the game. I come on at half time and I remember my first pass was like a 5-yard pass and I kicked it out of play. That's how nervous I was. But one of the other ones as well is obviously we lost ultimately in the trophy final, but obviously playing at Wembley, obviously everyone's dream as a kid to play at Wembley no matter what competition. Other than losing, the whole experience was amazing.
Would you say the relationship and all of them, the relationship you had with the manager at the time, would you say that was key?
Yeah, massive. Obviously, I'm with the same manager now. He's obviously at York City, John Askey, and he's been huge on my career. He doesn't necessarily say a lot to you, but he fulfills you with confidence, though, in that when you're on the pitch, you feel like you're trusted. So I know that if he puts me in the team, I know my job. I know that I need to do X, Y, and Z, and I know that he's going to believe. If I do make a mistake, I know that he trusts me to think I'm going to sort out the next one.
And was there anything specifically that you were doing during them times when obviously things were going well that you can look back on?
I like to think I'm just full of confidence, I think. And like I was saying, then when you do make a mistake, it's about being trusted by your teammates, by the staff, by the management or whatever, that if you do make a mistake, that you're still going to get that other chance. Because it's nothing better than a player. If you've had 2 or 3 good games and then you have really one bad game, that you want to be staying in it. Sometimes managers, they pull you out thinking, right, you need a breather, but I feel as a player that you need to be staying in. Because then you need to get over that bad game, and I believe like if you've got someone who trusts and believes in you so much, I think it helps massively.
And where we're at now, obviously you're at York City. Are you feeling that same feeling again in terms of you're obviously back with the manager, someone who you trust and someone who trusts you as well, and your teammates, so you know your job? Is that exactly where you're at now?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously I've played a couple of positions at like left back, left midfield, centre midfield, but I've really found my home in centre midfield. But like I said, at the start he probably spoke to me a little bit more. Obviously I've played centre mid before, but I've played more in depthly this season. But no, it just fulfills you. It's just confidence, and it give you little pointers now and then where to improve or what to do and stuff. But it just leaves you to it, and I like to think I'm experienced enough now to know that I know what I'm doing. So, but no, it's just big thing in football. Obviously, whatever level you're at, confidence is massive.
Of course, Is there anything off the pitch that you've utilised at all?
Just say we go through video analysis after games and stuff, where he tries to pinpoint what I can do in certain situations against certain scenarios with tactics and stuff. But no, he just fulfills me with confidence. I keep coming back to it, but I think that's the main thing. The confidence of the group of lads together. He always wants that tight knit bond between the lads, and I've had it obviously at Macclesfield and now at York, and I think that's massive.
So I mean, from obviously gauging what you're saying there, for you mentally in your headspace, you need to obviously be trusted by a manager. You obviously get that confidence from them, so you know your job and it's clear. I think is what you're pretty much saying to me there.
100%.
And just touching on it there in terms of off the pitch. I mean, I know you were doing a bit of coaching and stuff as well. Is it good to have something else to kind of obviously keep yourself distracted away from football sometimes?
Yeah, definitely. I did the coaching and started with young kids and going up to helping out with the youth team last year at Solihull. But no, it's important to have something away from football, because I know it's still part of football, but it's something completely different. Because ultimately football, it's if you can have a good career, you're still going to be finished around 34, 35. So it's good to try new things. obviously, like you know as well, I've started refereeing last summer as
Yeah,
well, so I've been
yeah.
doing that on a Sunday, doing Sunday League, which I've actually really enjoyed, even though the amount of feedback you get from Sunday League blokes. And
shocked to many seeing you referee.
yeah, no, it wasn't. I even shocked myself, thinking,
Yeah.
why should I do it? But
Yeah.
I've actually really enjoyed it. I've had a couple of games where I'm thinking, should I do it?
Yeah.
But no, I think obviously they want past players to do refereeing and stuff, and it's.
Right.
I love the game. I love football, so it's another opportunity to stay in it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then just finally on the highs of your career so far, I mean, obviously people always say don't get too high, don't get too low in your best moments. How did you stop yourself from getting too high then and cracking on? Obviously, your summer short when you, obviously after you just finished the season, you got to crack on and go again.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's, like you said, you can never get too high, but then on the lows you can never get too low.
Yeah.
You'll have probably more lows than you would highs in football, unless obviously you're at the top elite level. But no, you just got to treasure them moments. And I know that like I can still speak to the lads who I've probably not spoke to 3 or 4 years with the Macclesfield days. Yeah. And I'll speak to them on the phone like I was with him yesterday.
Brilliant.
You just got to, I think at the moment, just treasure it, just enjoy the hell out of it. And then obviously, if years time, when you go to like old school like reunions and stuff, you just embrace the memories.
Brilliant. And now, obviously, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about the lows in the game. And I know, unfortunately, you've suffered some serious injuries in your career as well as, and obviously as many now will suffer during a career. People out of contracts, you're waiting for the phone to ring, and obviously and things don't work out, or a manager's not fancy you. And is there any moments that specifically stick into your head then about them sort of times?
Yeah, I think as I've got a bit older, I've kind of understood it a bit more. But obviously, when I think it was 21 or 22, when I left Birmingham, obviously I played a couple of years in the Championship. I had a couple of years of not playing, went on loan. So you think, right, I'm out of contract, I've got nowhere to go. I think, right, what do I do here? Obviously, at the time, I'm realising it that now. Obviously, I'm now older, but I'm thinking, well, there's no way I'm going to drop to National League like I did, because you think, right, I've played in the Championship, easily get League One, worst case League Two. But then you soon learn the harsh reality of football, which is it's brutal. 1 minute you could be the next best thing, and next minute you're just someone like the chip cover, aren't you? But no, it's tough, and I think you've got to have the right people around you giving you support, and family, friends. Obviously, I know I spoke to you quite a bit at the time, like going for the years and stuff. So you've just got to be strong, and you've got to trust in yourself. And I had a couple of trials which didn't work out, and like I say, I ended up Macclesfield. And although did I want to drop to that level? Obviously not, but it's turned out to be brilliant, because I still like to think that I'm still in the game now because I'm still playing at the time.
100%. And then obviously the injuries that you've had in your career, I know you obviously had a serious one at MK Dons, and you had a serious one whilst you were also at Solihull Moors as well. How did you bounce back from them? And also during the injuries, obviously low periods, spending a lot of time in the gym, not going outside, and not spending obviously time on the grass with the players. And how did you make sure that you kept your confidence and kept your head straight then, and made sure obviously your mind was clear?
At MK, obviously I wasn't playing at the time, but when we was on the verge of being promoted either in the playoffs or going for top 3, so there was a massive buzz around the place. And I mean, I ruptured the tendon in my hamstring, and suddenly like that my season was done from March to the end of the season. So it's hard for yourself, because although I wasn't playing, you still want to help the lads out, because if you get a promotion on your CV, it helps massively. But then you think like, well, I can't help because I'm injured here. And it was tough. Initially it was tough, as I was on crutches for a while, and I had to stay in the hotel at the ground because I couldn't physically drive home. But in fairness, at MK, I had a great support from the physios, and the lads were brilliant with me, and they let me go on holiday for a week just to clear my head before I proper cracked on with my rehab and stuff. And then at Solihull, it was my first season here, and we're still on the verge of obviously trying to get into the playoffs. And I can't remember. Yeah, we played. It was literally the last game before we went into lockdown, before obviously COVID took over. We played Fold away, drew 0-0, and I only thought I'd pulled something in my quad, so I didn't think it was too bad. Because I was meant to play Harrogate in the next game, and obviously I've been on loan, so I wanted to make sure I was ready for that. And then I had a scan the next day, and I had an avulsion fracture and broke my hip. So it was crazy and
really unlucky.
Yeah, it's one of them. It was a bit like, because I've had the injury before, I kind of knew, all right, head down, crack on, get on with it. But then, because obviously COVID hit, I was suddenly at home, had an operation, I was at home with crutches, and I couldn't do any rehab or do anything because physically no one could do anything at all. So that was tough doing that at home.
So what were you doing at home then? Were you getting programmes sent to you in terms of, because I know when obviously during COVID for me, It was hard to motivate yourself. I know boredom at the start, you do things, but then after the initial kind of month or so, getting yourself motivated to do different bits and pieces. I mean, after injury as well, especially, it must have been even tougher to get yourself up for doing it.
Yeah, it was. I say, especially being on crutches for 6 weeks at home. Yeah. It was a nightmare. So luckily, I could still put weight through it, but it was hard. Yeah. And then, like you say, once I initially got off the crutches and I could start to do a little bit, like I was ended up doing Zoom calls with physio and stuff, and I'm doing it over like loudspeaker on my phone. And first week, 2 weeks, you're like, I'm back doing it, and then you're like, well, there's nothing to look forward to because the season. I don't know when the season's going back, and then it's like that. Then you start doing it half-heartedly, and before you know it, if the season's on, you've set yourself back. Yeah. Luckily enough, that obviously the COVID hit, so we didn't obviously start. I think next season started in October time, but it's hard once you get over that initial. Yes, I can do a little bit of running and stuff, and then you do it for a week or so, and you think, right, I'm bored of that. I want to do something else, but you can't. No. So it's hard.
But I assume obviously you do them, you get through them moments thinking about where you're at now. So where you're obviously at now is fine run of form at York City, 11 goals in 21 games, and you're in the semi-final of the playoffs in the National League North now. And I assume obviously you look back at them times now and going from, obviously thankfully I did put the work in and you got yourself physically back to where you are now.
Yeah, definitely. I say I've always been one for stretching, and obviously the first injury I had around hamstring, I need to make sure that I'm doing my yoga bits, my yoga stretches and stuff like that. It sounds silly, but it helps massively. Yeah. But definitely, if anything, I've always made me mentally stronger to know that if you have a setback, you just, all right, visualise what you want to do, set a goal, right, bang, crack on with all your work, and then you get ready to go. But then, like, even at the time at Solihull and MK, the staff that were there at the time, they filled with confidence to get back fit, because there was always an end goal, thinking, right, get yourself fit, bang, you're going to be back and around it. But no, everyone, when I've needed them, has helped. And even at times when I was at Birmingham even before I left then, and I knew it was coming towards the end, but I still wanted to give everything. So I'd speak to the fitness coaches and stuff, and I'd say, look, after training, can I do extra more and stuff? And it helps. But one thing I would say for lads is ask questions, ask people, because people are employed and they will help you. Yeah. But people are scared to ask because they're embarrassed to think, why should I do extra work? Yeah. It's all about you at the end of the day. You've got to be selfish. It's a short career, so you either want, whatever your goal is, either achieve as much money as you can, achieve as much trophies as you can, play at the highest level you can. Yeah. You've got to have a balance. Yeah. And I think don't be embarrassed or scared to do extras on your own, do extra fitness work, do gym work, because I guarantee out of 10 lads, you've probably got 3 doing it. Yeah. And those 3 might kick on, and the other 7 are thinking, I'll just do it, I'm alright. But it's never that easy, obviously. You know?
Well, you said it there, that was probably going to be my final question in terms of advice that you give to injured players right now, or your younger self, or a young pro coming through. And I think for me, is at the time, I remember obviously we were coming through, you'd be always looking at someone that was doing a bit extra, and you would say, they were a bit busy there.
Yeah, no, of course.
You'd say, they were a bit busy then. But ultimately, I mean, now we're older, more experienced, you're thinking, you want to gain every inch you can, can't you?
Of course, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I know you just touched on it then, but it was my final question in terms of any other added advice that you could give to someone on or off the pitch that is currently injured or maybe just starting out on their journey.
Yeah, no, I definitely say, I think we were quite fortunate because I think we quite did it when we were younger, is just ask questions of staff, ask questions of senior players, ask them about their experiences in games. I remember one example when I was at Birmingham, I think we were first years, and obviously we had Stephen Carr, who's Ireland legend, played for Spurs and Newcastle and whatever. But I'd ask him questions, obviously at the time I was playing fullback, so I'd ask him questions like, what would you do in this situation, that situation? And he might have, I don't know whether he was annoyed or not, but I was learning so much off him. Yeah. And it's just like, people don't ask enough questions as young lads. They don't
think they're embarrassed too.
Yeah, so you're probably slightly, you think, look at him, he's a legend, like I've done nothing in the game, he's done everything. You think, well, ask him. Worst case is he says no, and you do someone else. But I think lads, there's probably a little bit of, maybe not scared, but a little bit of intimidation that they don't want to ask questions. Yeah. And then just take every opportunity you get. Just, if you get a one game, like at MK Dons, I like to think that I did hardly play. I played in the cup game and stuff, but I had a game with my first only league game was against Stevenage, and I done well. Yeah. And I think I took my opportunity, but obviously the team doing well, so I didn't go back in. But you've just got to, once you get that opportunity, just go for it. Yeah. Full hammer and tongue.
Is there anything different that you would have done to manage them highs and lows during your career now?
Maybe I think I should have asked more questions in terms of going to management about certain situations.
Yeah.
Like you go and see managers, say, oh, why am I not playing? They'll give you an answer, and you like to think, all right, that's it. But then I like to think I should have questioned those answers.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so you're saying, like, for example, like, you want me to improve my crossing. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
if I improve my crossing, how's that going to affect me from playing the game? Like, am I doing it for certain situations, or I think there's got to be a level of respect, because when the manager's telling you, or a member of staff are telling you, look, I want you to improve X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Just question it and say, okay, I'll do that, but please tell me why.
Yeah.
And just get that feedback, and then obviously it improves your relationship and stuff, because it shows that you've got a bit about yourself to ask something back.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Mitch, for sharing that with us, and I hope obviously to anyone watching this it's been of some help to you, and keep an eye out for the next video.